Hey everybody, and welcome to Dee Talk Live, Love Talk Mondays. Happy Easter to everybody who is celebrating, and I'm sure we've had a magnificent long weekend. Everybody's still probably coming home. They've had an awesome long weekend. Many events had happened during the long weekend, and I'm sure it was amazing for everyone. And we're back to normal in about 5 weeks. We won't be, because it'll be Greek Easter and it'll be havoc and crazy for us. We're looking forward to it, but 5 weeks in, it's crazy. It's crazy. Thank you again for joining me tonight. Tonight's topic is another love one. So for all my lovers out there, I love you so much. I can't get this smile off my face today for some reason. I don't know why. It's always great to be happy, I guess, and positive spirits, and very excited to be doing this right now and being here with you guys, because I love you all so much. Hello, Georgia. Hello to everybody else who is out there who is scared to say hello. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. I'm sending you my love and my kisses, my big kisses. Tonight we are talking about another love topic that comes up in a situation and in a relationship when we're with somebody. And years ago, it was quite different, because I remember actually dating somebody that was a lot older than me. But it was because I loved him at that stage. Maybe I was just doing the love puppy, the sick puppy, when you first start, getting into relationships and falling in love, you tend to choose relationships in order to grow from them. So tonight's question establishes, does age matter in a relationship? Should the woman, so we're going to go back to the original aspect, the original ideology, the traditional way of thinking. So years and years ago, it was always about the woman or the female, in the relationship being younger than the male. The male always had to be older. And I always asked that question. I was always like, but why? Always asking questions, you know what I'm like. Why do they have to be older? Why can't the man be older? And then it came to my perception that possibly because of childbearing necessities, who knows? It could be a lot of things. That's the reason why I thought it was quite interesting. And a friend of mine and I always talk about this topic, and I thought it was great for us to bring it up tonight, because there were many relationships, even back in the days, in the old school days of when my parents were getting married, where the woman sometimes would be older, right? And 10 years older, 13 years older. I know, it's crazy, but they loved each other. But then you have the ramifications. You have the things that happen. And sometimes those things can be, the man gets bored. He starts looking at younger women. And these are all the types of things you've got to take into context and say, you know what? Am I willing to marry somebody that's 13 years older than me? Or am I wanting to marry somebody that's 13 years younger than me? Because in saying that, right, when, you're older, sometimes the guy might get bored or might look somewhere else. And then in most cases, it does happen. And remember, after we do have children, especially women, they tend to look a lot older, right? They age a lot quicker after childbearing and childbirth. And then obviously, if you're a lot older, you can tell there's always a difference, but they can tell that you're older, and there's always some sort of a difference, even in the dynamic, let's just say. So, you might not have anything in common anymore. Your principles, your thought processes at that stage were quite different. So when you're with that person initially, you might feel young and be like, oh yeah, I'm dating a younger guy, or I'm going to marry, But then when you get older, and especially women, they become they're a lot more mature than men. So they mature a lot earlier as well. They tend to change, and so does the man as well, right? The male, obviously. Because what you once wanted or you believed was right for you in a specific situation or relationship dynamic has completely changed because your ideals change. You change as a person, you flourish, you learn different things, and what you once wanted doesn't necessarily mean that you want it now. So many times when we're in a predicament of being in a relationship, it's hard to fathom, but you have to really dissect and make that decision and say, is this right for me? Is it what I want? Is it exactly what I want in a partner and who I want? Because later on, these things do happen. And then there's obviously the opposite as well. So we're reversing it too. How young is too young? Should an 18-year-old be dating a 40-year-old? What do you guys think? These are the types of questions. See, in my perception, I don't think an 18-year-old would even look at a 40-year-old. But who knows? And we're not judging either here. We're just trying to state the facts and trying to get the message out there in order to wonder what it is that actually makes an older woman want a younger guy. Or vice versa. We're gonna go into more tonight. We're gonna explore. And then there's obviously the one that I like, which is when you meet somebody that's in their 40s, right? A guy, for example. By that stage, or actually I was talking to somebody last night and we actually verified it probably would be about in their 30s, about 35. They've already undergone a few relationship situations that might have enlisted specific baggage concepts, which like in regards to baggage being, either being divorced, married, things, relationship, emotional hurt issues, things that have come up to the surface. So even though they might be a bit younger than you, sometimes it depends because they might not be ready for what you're ready for, right? So it's like a win situation, but then there might be a sort of a losing sort of concept to it, right? Most of the times though, what I find is a lot of those guys that are in their 40s tend to have already undergone what you might have gone through, but in a different way. It doesn't mean that these people are bad or, they're going through something. But in most cases, that's the reason why older women tend to go for younger guys, because they're more inclined not to have as much baggage and to not have undergone so much in their lives in order for us to create a new start with them. A lot of my friends have said the same thing, and then there's the maturity level behind things as well. Sometimes a 40-year-old man might not be as mature as a 35-year-old man, because we're all different. Hence why I say the soul level tends to be different in regards to emotions and how we react to specific situations and what we've gone through. So it all has to do with life experience as well, not only to do with how old they are, because regardless, an 18-year-old might be more mature than a 40-year-old. See, so we're not putting a category. We're not what's the word for it when you actually analyze a specific situation, because it's as though you're putting a type of tag on it, and you're saying that all what did we say? We actually spoke about this one week as well on one of the Dee Talk lives as well. A stereotype. There you go. So we're not stereotyping anything. We're just by the experience and by what research has told us and people have told us. It depends, because it's all about the person. It's all about how mature they are, what stage they are in their lives, what they've been going through in their lives, and what that's really brought to the fore and is coming out to reflect that on their new relationship or who they want to be with or want to be, eventually as well, Yes, Adrienne, 100% it is. I know. Because it doesn't have to do with the age. It has to do with where you are in your life and how ready you are to take the next step. And as I said, when somebody's older, so for example, the ladies that I was talking about in regards to them being older, they took that step because they felt that it was right for them. But, always think about the consequences and what might happen. Because many times everyone's like, oh no, you shouldn't be getting married to somebody that's 5 years older than you, vice versa, the girl older, the guy older, But in many cases, it's the maturity level, it's where they are and how they feel. And yes, sometimes we tend to be a bit like, oh, but should I, shouldn't I? Like, obviously I'm not telling you to get married to somebody that's 10 years younger than you if you can tell there's a massive difference, or you don't see it that way. And it's all to do with personal opinion. It's all to do with what we like, and what you want as well, right? Because relationships are all about what we want. And if we can see ourselves with somebody for a legitimate time, a long time, a short time, whatever it is, what we're after, age for me does matter in one sense, only because I've always been the person to want a male or a man that's a bit older than me. But in saying that though, sometimes, as I brought up before, the male might even be at that stage where he's on my level, and his intelligence is tenfold, or he knows so many things, or he's worldly, or and these are the types of things that sometimes you can't help but get attracted to. It depends what you're attracted to. For me, it's always about the intelligence and how much a person can actually teach me. If I know that the conversation is not going anywhere, I get really bored, and then obviously I can't continue seeing somebody or in a relationship with somebody, because that's what it's all about. It's about partnership, what you're going to teach each other, what you're going to bring to the relationship, and how that relationship is going to grow. Because age is just a number in one sense, but sometimes you can tell that the woman is older or the man is older. But in saying that though, if they're comfortable, if that's what they want to do, we're not here to judge or anything. It's their personal choice and opinion, and as I said, it all has to do with where they are, how they're feeling, because many times, even a friend of mine, she had mentioned that, she was on one of those dating apps, and every 40-year-old that was on there that she had come into contact with was either immature, didn't know how to communicate, had so many issues, had so many things that they needed to really heal within themselves. But every single 35-year-old or 36-year-old or 37-year-old she met, she had more of a conversation with them and had more in common with them, that it blew her mind, because they were at a different stage. You're on a different wavelength. And that's what usually happens sometimes. And in relevance to that, she even said, you can't go looking for somebody that's already, over the 40 threshold, in my case, because they've already been through this, they've done this, or they've had this, and then they've still got emotional issues that they need to really heal, and there's nothing wrong with those people. Everybody goes through something, but they might not be on the same page as you. Therefore, that's where you try and establish, do you want to be with somebody the same age as you, or is it okay to go out with somebody that's younger than you? How many years younger does the person have to be? You guys tell me, what do you think? It's all about how mature the person is, and what you want in a relationship from somebody, and where you want the relationship dynamic to go. And should, the male be older than the female, or the masculine, or the feminine. It's all about the energy. It's all about how we perceive different dynamics and relationships, and how we all start going through the motion, especially with the age. Because back in the days, it was all about that. It was all about marrying somebody that was a lot older than you when you were a female. For example, my parents, I'll give you guys an example. My dad is 13 years older than my mum. So back in those days, it was a thing. It was the fashion that they had, and regardless if they love each other, they do. They love each other. They've been together for so many years. They're crazy about each other, but they differ in specific aspects. Because where my dad is now was where he used to be, where my mum is now. Get it? And you do have differences, but you work through them if you want, and if that's what you really want in a relationship. If you love, love is the biggest emotive emotion that I always talk about. It conquers all, regardless of anything. If it's what you want, you go for it. In some cases, there might be other underlying problems that you might not be able to continue the relationship because one party might not want to, or, it's in the best interest of both parties that they just, stay friends as well. There's heaps of things that come up anyway. Oh, hey Costa, how are you? Well, I hope they weren't that bad, and I hope that I'm making you smile and they're a bit more good, because I love you. I love everybody that's on here today, as per usual. Hello, you guys rock. And so that's what I think. I think that it has really to do with how you're feeling, what type of relationship do you want? Do you want somebody that's a lot older than you? Do you want somebody that's younger than you? Do you want to be older than the person that you're with, So as I said, it really has to do with that. And even like some of my girlfriends have said to me, what's wrong with, if you find somebody that's younger? And I'm like, I can't be with anyone younger. Like, I can't do that. It's like a crime. Because it's always been a thought in my mind, the guy that I should be with should be older, but you don't know. That's the thing, But it's all, when it's been programmed that in that specific way, sometimes, it's crazy. Single again after 5 years in a relationship. This topic is something I'm actually thinking about now. This is what I'm trying to say though, because so many of us go through all these waves, these turbulent, situations, but they mold us and they make you a lot more stronger, and develop your character and really define what you want in a relationship, and who you want to be, or understand to be, because it's hard. It's hard because we've been known to be educated that, obviously the woman's got to be, older than the guy, blah, blah, blah. Things are changing. Times are changing. Generations are changing, which is what I've said. People don't care anymore. And, who are we to judge? But, but they're the types of things that you need to analyze. You need to make sure if it's, right for you or not right for you, or, if it floats your boat, go with it. That's just, it's just how it is, I know, and it's true. It is. It's because it is. It's all about the relevance towards the relationship and how far forward people are, Everybody's at a different stage at a different time, and it really depends if, you want to do that. And, they're the things that you have to deal with later on if things actually happen. So, it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting topic. Anyway, enough about that. I hope everybody's really, really well, actually. You guys are beautiful. Thank you for joining me. We will be back on Thursday for another awesome Dee Talk Live. I hope you guys can join me then, which I'm sure you will. Many kisses, many hugs to everyone. I hope you guys have a sensational rest of the week. And yeah, I miss you all so much. Whoever I don't see, whoever I haven't spoken to for a long time. We lead busy lives, all of us do, but they're so imperfect, being so perfect, right? Always remember that. Always try and be kind to yourselves, and always try and really, really understand yourselves. Look within. Sit in silence. Understand who you are and see what comes up, because most of the times when we are silent within ourselves, a lot of things come out. Believe in magic, which is what I always say. Believe in it, because it actually comes. My mother-in-law was 2 years older than my father-in-law. That was a big taboo back in the day. Yes, that's what I mean. So back in the days, even being 2 years older than a man was huge. It was like a thing saying, oh my God, the spinster. She got a, young guy. That's what I was trying to say before with the whole 10 years they're junior, And I'm sure back in the days it was a big thing as well. But, you know, love was how they felt. And obviously they took the next step. Some of them, with what I remember my girlfriend telling me, some of them did stay together, some of them didn't. One of them passed away, obviously, because she was older, but I don't know if she was sick, I'm not sure. She'll tell me. But others, others, obviously, one separated because he was looking at another, and, you know, and obviously a lot of the older generation, you know, Greeks would say exactly the same thing, you know, like if my parents knew something, or then I was with somebody that was, you know, 10 years younger, or blah blah blah. It's the mentality, it's the way it is, you know. But sometimes in saying that, you can't really tell, depending, because in some situations, sometimes the guy looks older than the girl when the girl is older than the guy. I don't know if you guys have noticed that as well. It's crazy, but it happens. Like, you're able to see it, and you're like, oh my God, really? And then they're like, yeah, really. So it was a taboo back in the day, and it was obviously just a normal aspect of, you know, the man being a lot older as well. I've heard many stories. Somebody else told me that their parents were 15 years. I'm like, what? Sounds like mine. It's crazy. But it was the normality back then. Next week's topic for Dee Love Talk is huge. It's similar to this, but not really. It's what's actually going on at the moment. Get involved, get on it. Join us next week. It's actually being put forward by one of my beautiful, beautiful viewers on here. He knows who he is. So we're going to talk about it next week. I hope you all have an amazing evening, and you can all join me next week for another, obviously, Dee Love Talk. And I will see you guys on Thursday. You please look after each other and look after yourselves and love yourselves so much. Okay? I'm sending you so much love and light. Have an amazing evening, everyone. Take care. I will see you guys soon. Dee out. She is out.